The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hello children, I am back and we'll begin today's session with a very short story that goes with the title, The Devil Released the Donkey in Us. I think the story might be familiar with many of you, but still, as it is a need of the hour, I would like to speak about it. The story begins like this. A donkey was tied to a tree. A devil came and untied the donkey. And with much excitement, what the donkey did was that it ran to the nearby fields and destroyed the crops over there. Seeing this, the farmer's wife of the nearby field came outside and shot this donkey to death. Once when the owner of the donkey found that his donkey is dead, he was so upset, and what he did was he came in return and he killed the farmer's wife. And the farmer who was outside came to meet his wife at home, but he found his wife dead. He was not able to tolerate this, and what he did was that he went back to this owner of the donkey and he killed the owner of the donkey. And wife of the owner of the donkey, what she did was that she was not able to tolerate the pain or agony, the absence of her husband. So what she did was that she provoked her sons to go back again to the farmer's house and set fire to the house. All the three sons went as per the instructions of their mother, and they set ablaze the house of the farmer, assuming that the farmer might have also got burned in the house. But very sad to them, he did not die. He escaped very luckily, and understanding that these people were behind this, the farmer again came back, and what he did was he killed the donkey owner's wife and all the children, sons. Doing all these things, he got frustrated, sitting in a place with a remorse mind. He asked, why had all these things happened? The devil in him answered, see, I haven't done anything. I just released the donkey. And what happened, all these things, is only you people reacted and overreacted to the problems and issues, and everything went worse. So children, what did you understand from this story? It is a life lesson, I think so. So, the next time, before you reply, before you respond, or before you react, what you should do is sit and think. What might be the consequences of my response? If the things are getting worse and worse, then why should we do that? So sit and think. Be careful. Many a times, this devil does nothing, just only releases the devil in us, the donkey in us. So where the problem lies? Is it with the devil or with us? Of course, it is only within us. So devil is not outside, devil is within us. Everything happens only when you take a decision in your mind. It is very much relevant to this society and even to we people. Because good or bad happens in our mind. Thoughts happens in our mind. If you think good, the result is going to be good. If you think bad, consequences we will have to face. Whatever the issues in the society might be. Whether it is a corruption or bribery or cheating or theft or moral policing or whatever the things might be. Now it is like tit for tat. People forget the values and behave. See, actually the second unit, Heights of Harmony, deals with the certain qualities or principles or values that we should get acquainted with to have a good social relationship. We will have to coexist with each other, isn't it? It is necessary because man is a social animal. He cannot be always dependent or independent. Independent is not possible at all. Today, we are going to deal with another lesson that gives you a very moral value. The title is The Hour of Truth. It is an one-act play written by Percival Wilde. It is considered to be a psychological thriller that has a life lesson for us. On the screen, to know more about the playwright. Okay. What is your opinion on this title, The Hour of Truth? Is there any special time to speak truth or special time for truth? What is truth? In fact, it is a fact, reality. Then it is sincerity, honesty, and all these things. Okay. Every hour is the hour of truth. Let me ask you one question. It is a very big secret, okay? It is going to be a big secret that I will never reveal to anyone else. Have you ever lied? Have you? Yes or no? Yes, isn't it? Telling lies is like eating chocolates. One after the other it will come. One thing I will tell you people, for the one liars, including me and you. The thing is, if you speak truth, you will have to remember less. If you lie, you will have to remember a lot. Isn't it? You should know to whom you have said what. So, which is better you decide, to speak a lie or to speak truth. Okay, the question was, Have you ever lied? To speak openly and frankly, even the lessons of telling lies begins from our home, I think. My personal view. Okay, sometimes you may get a call, parents may get a call over phone, and if they are not interested to pick the call, they may tell or they may ask you children, to pick the call and tell father is not at home, mother is not at home, they are gone to a nearby shop. Who turns to be the scapegoat? It is ultimately the children. So children, what they do is they get a lesson that they are permitted to, they are granted to speak lies. Okay, leave it aside. Have you ever lied? That was the question I said, isn't it? No. I know that you are all very good children. You know the consequences, problems that may arise if you speak lies. And also the ultimate truth is that only truth alone triumphs. Isn't it? Okay. But my question is that, have you ever supported your friends to tell lies? Have you ever stood by them for their lies? That might have happened many a time, isn't it? Or else you think of a situation when you don't stand for their lies. If it is a big, very big mistake that may harm your friend, what you should do or what you may do is that you will go and report it to your teachers or your parents. Isn't it? That is good friendship. If you stand by the lie with your friends, that may bring a big disaster or harm to your friends, then you are not at all a friend. Okay, if you have ever been betrayed or if you have betrayed your friends without standing along with them for the lies that they have said, what might happen? Sometimes you may withdraw your friendship, you will put an end to your friendship, or there may happen a quarrel, or you don't believe that person, the trust breaks up. When there comes a breach of promise, trust is the first thing that will get destroyed. Isn't it? So here, the protagonist of this play also undergoes a certain conflicts in his mind. His big problem is that to choose between being honest or being dishonest. That was the trouble with him, the dilemma that happened in his mind. And this play shows us that people very easily forget about their moral side, values in life when it comes in front of fortune. We get to know more about it from the medias, isn't it? What happens right now, isn't it? Everywhere, people are betrayed or people are cheated. Everywhere lies. The society is totally corrupt in the name of money or the values. We blame one or the other person for the corrupt society, and we don't think that we belong to the same society where we blame about. Why shouldn't we think about rectifying the problem? Corruption, bribery. Bribery, it is spread like a contagious disease. To get your things easily done, the easiest way is to give bribery. Nobody is ready to stand against all these evil corruptions. The corrupting influence of money on people is the main theme of this play. And how this greed affects the individual in this play. Very beautifully and very wisely, this writer has treated the characters of everyday life from our society to bring creativity with realistic touch. in his writing. How? A working man, his family, his boss, and the system. All these four things are included in the play very beautifully. And totally it justifies and gives honor to the title. The play is very vivid and clear. The main character in the play discovers the problem and resolves the problem. And here Mr. Baldwin is the protagonist. He is getting stuck to the moral values that he will never speak a word, a lie in his lifetime. It is like a vow he has taken. And when it happens to be his own friend who puts him in trouble, there comes a confusion, isn't it? The same way he also felt. But his friend understood his quality, admired his quality, and instead of feeling he is getting betrayed, he admitted his own mistake and got his own punishment. Okay, in between these two actions, there happens a chain of actions where the family is behind money, forcing him to do evil deeds, misdeeds. And towards the end of the play, the hero of the story, hero of the play, gets a great job as a reward for his integrity in his life. And there is a change of pace from bad energy to good energy that changes the play to a great dynamic. Okay, now I'll read on to the summary of the play and please listen to it. Okay, the play The Hour of Truth is written by Percival Wilde. The play is taken from A Question of Morality and other plays. The characters are Robert Baldwin, Martha, John, Evie, Mr. Marshall, and a maid. The scene is set at Baldwin's cottage and it is Sunday afternoon. Robert Baldwin has gone outside. His wife and children are anxiously waiting for his arrival. The sky is so dark. The family is expecting that it will rain and they don't know whether Baldwin would take his umbrella or not. While the family is waiting for Robert Baldwin's arrival, they are talking themselves about John Gresham, on whose bank Mr. Baldwin worked. Now, due to financial crisis, bank was closed and John Gresham is found guilty for that and is in jail. From their talk, it is evident that John Gresham's trial is on the next day and John Baldwin is giving evidence against him. But John Gresham calls him that day. They are very anxiously to know why he calls Baldwin. Evie has a doubt whether Baldwin has involved in wrecking of the bank because every newspaper is mentioning that and Baldwin does not say anything against it. Martha tells that the newspaper is unfair to him. Since Baldwin is working under Gresham's orders, the family has a doubt whether he involved in the bank crash. But Martha firmly believes that Baldwin never did anything at all. He found out the bank crash by accident. John immediately says that he saw Donovan, the assistant cashier, the last day at the athletic club. Donovan was working there for 8 years. The news came like a bolt out of a clear sky. John has a suspicion that his father must have known about it because he is the only witness against John Gresham. Since he was named after John Grisham, John feels that because of John Grisham, his name is damaged. Even he mentions that John Grisham was acquired a lot of wealth in these 20 years while his father is getting just $60 a week. Martha tells that her husband is very dedicated to his work. Whatever John Grisham asked him to do without revolting, he obeyed. Finally, Robert Baldwin comes in the house. Everyone wants to know how the crash happened in the bank. He tells that even he knows what John Grisham is doing only one day before the crash. It is under his pressure that John Grisham closed the bank. He even tells them why John Grisham asked him to meet. John Grisham wants him to tell, "I don't remember." When the court asks anything about the bank crash to Robert Baldwin. If Robert Baldwin does this, he will get $100,000. But Robert Baldwin is an honest man, so he does not accept his proposal. But when the whole family hears about the money, their mind begins to change. They begin to convince John Grisham. Martha wants to know whether the depositors would lose any money. Robert Baldwin replies that no one will lose anything. Thus, the family comes to know that the money is safe. John Grisham's crime was that he misappropriated the funds. The family begins to persuade Robert Baldwin to say lie and to help John Grisham. At first, Robert Baldwin is shocked. Martha tells him that since they named their son's name after John Grisham, it will be a disgrace their son too. Also, it was John Grisham who sponsored John's baptizing. With these words, she forces Robert Baldwin to help John Grisham. According to E, if John Grisham tells the depositors that he will pay everything back the next day, they will hate Robert Baldwin for sending John Grisham to jail. John supports her by saying, nobody wants to see him punished. He also feels that if John Grisham does not go to jail, he will start a business where Robert can become his partner. This makes Robert Baldwin to get angry. Martha tries to convince Robert Baldwin by saying that now John is the sole breadwinner of the family, but his income is not sufficient for the family to survive. If Robert accepts $100,000 from John Grisham, the family can lead a cozy life. Robert Baldwin never thinks that his family will change. After hearing the amount which John Grisham will pay if Robert Baldwin says, "I don't remember," in the court. It makes him sad. He calls them shams, liars, hypocrites, and thieves. Still, the family persuades him to accept the money. By this time, Mr. Marshall, the president of the Third National, arrives in the home. He gives a piece of happy news to Robert Baldwin and his family by telling that a good position is awaiting for Robert Baldwin in the Third National. He hears from John Grisham that Robert Baldwin has refused to tell lie in the court, which prompted John Grisham to confess. Mr. Marshall is impressed by his honesty. As the play ends, he tells Robert Baldwin's family, "I can only say to you what every man will be saying tomorrow. How highly I honor and respect your husband." hope the summary went well. I feel you might have understood the story as a whole. Children, listening to the summary, you might have understood where lies the devil. Is it inside or outside? Definitely inside our mind, isn't it? So what is your plan? Whether to bring up this devil or to abandon it. See, in this play, The Hour of Truth, Mr. Baldwin, the protagonist of the play, is considered to be a man of values, who is upright in his qualities. He is considered to be good by all the people. He knows Mr. Grisham, his close friend, has illegally appropriated the money, the fund in the bank, and he is called to the court to testify this, because he was the only one witness against this misdeed of his friend. At first, the family of Mr. Baldwin stood along with him, for he had not supported Mr. Grisham in his misdeeds. But once when they understood there is a reward, or there is an offer from Mr. Grisham, and that too is a huge sum of amount that they can never imagine in their life, they started getting tempted towards owning that money. They made so many excuses in plenty that Mr. Baldwin should accept the offer that is made by Mr. Grisham, and they even compelled him to say the 3 words that Mr. Grisham has asked for. What was the 3 words? I don't remember. In those days it worked well, but right now we have lie detector too. He was asked by his friend to tell, I don't remember. So nobody can come and check your mind or memory, isn't it? That was an excuse those days. But right now we have lie detector too. Yes, it is Robert who brings hope towards the end of the play. Even we feel happy to find that even such people like Mr. Baldwin is also there in the society. Because corruption has become a big threat to a democratic country like India. Not only in India, everywhere corruption has spread its roots. But we can minimize this corruption by laying strict rules and regulations. It is possible. It is in the hands of this young, energetic, promising youth who is in front of me. You people have to be encouraged to discourage the corruption. Should also feel that without corruption you can lead a happy life, and to reform the society, a clean society, a clean system. As Abdul Kalam has said in a speech, why do you want Mr. Clean to come from somewhere else and to clean your place? Why shouldn't you turn yourself to be Mr. Clean? If each and every one of us start thinking in such a way, it will not spread anywhere. It is like contagious disease. Everywhere it is spread. It has become a casual norm to get and give. If you need such a transformation, if you are ready to bring a reformation into the system, we all should be very honest and committed. A visible commitment should be experienced from you people, if you think it will happen. Let us all be virtuous and lead a life of honesty with trust to each other. The trust itself has gone, has been uprooted. Even within the family, it is very difficult to trust people. then how is it possible to bring it into the society? Who will think about it? Here and there everybody writes and speaks about it. Who will put it into action? Who will bell the cat? What are you going to do for the next generation? For your children to be at least happy and safe and secure. It is like granted everybody gets corruption or bribery. Lies, liars, hypocrites, everywhere. So why shouldn't you stand alone and say, I am unique, I am true to myself and towards my community. When you live in a community, you are committed to the community, to the society you live. Isn't it? So, why shouldn't we all turn to be like Mr. Baldwin, who stood very strong to his principle that he will never lie or he will never stand against truth. See, even towards the end of this play we have understood, good is rewarded and evil is punished. One or the other day it will come to light and it will receive its own responses. See, in the end of the story, towards the end of the play, Mr. Gresham, who expected his friend to support him, even understood the value of truth, and finally he went to confess about his own crimes and mistakes. Definitely, money makes people blind. In +1 you have studied in Gooseberry's lesson, money is like vodka. It can play cure tricks on man. The same way, money can overturn the family's reputation at any time, for sure. If you don't stick on to the values and principles of morality, it will happen. It can bring only an endless shame. If you don't stick on to the principles, money is not a mistake. Money should join with your mind, values of mind. Money should be in hand with the virtuous deeds. Then it will prosper. Or else, if it is on the other side, if money matches with mistakes, it becomes an endless shame. The only positive note in the end is that Baldwin's integrity and honesty landed him to a good job. So hope you will understand the essence and the crux of this play. Read the play and understand, because language is very simple, style is very simple. You can follow the play and give me a review of the play. And also write an essay on corruption, the evil head of the society. So can you please do that? So 2 works. One is writing the review of the play, and the second one is writing an essay with the heading Corruption, the evil head of the society. Okay? Until I meet you next week, bye. Thank you.